and welcome to the Global Premier Football Show. Here today for this last episode before the World Cup. I'm joined with Victor and Christian. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And this weekend, it was a crazy weekend of football. Unexpected results, things that we never imagined could be happening. They all happened this weekend. And we will talk about it. Now, before we move ahead here, just one thing that I want you to do. Click the like button, subscribe to this channel, and help us spread the news to your friends who will be interested to know more about the Premier League and our thoughts about the game. Now, before we go ahead, this is week 16 review of the Premier League. And there were fantastic results, upsets, disappointments, and so on, whatnot. But before we dive into the real thing today, because we'll be looking at Chelsea, we'll be looking at Tottenham Hotspur, we'll be looking at Manchester City. Upsets right there. Let's look at the weekend's results and all that happened. Manchester City started with against Brighton. You always think they'll win. They lost by 1-2. Bournemouth trashed Everton 3-0. Liverpool 3-1 against Southampton. Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace 1-0 in favor of Nottingham Forest. Tottenham Hotspur, what a 7-goal thriller of a game. 4-3 in favor of Tottenham Hotspur. West Ham losing at home to Leicester City. What a turnaround for Leicester City. Newcastle beating Chelsea 1-0 at St. James Park. And Wolves losing 2-0 at home to Arsenal. And the last two games for the weekend is Brighton against Villa, Fulham against Manchester United. Those two, I believe, will not disappoint. So, guys, let's look into this right now. We're looking at the first game here. Manchester City playing at the Etihad against Brentford. What do you make of that game, Christian?
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I said, what do you make of the game that Brentford beat Manchester City at the Etihad?
That game made my day. I know I shouldn't be sounding like a hater, but I watched every bit of that game with so much intensity. But that goes to show, or I give it to Brighton, because I saw a team that were raising up. They were not just defending; they were intentional in their counter-attacking. You know what I mean? It's a different ballgame when you see a team just fall back and defend like they've been beaten like a scapegoat. No. They were defending with their lives. Every one member of that team was sold in to get a result. Those kids were resolute. I don't know, maybe because most of them are not, the 11 are not going to the World Cup. So most of them are like, I don't care. They were more hungry. Meanwhile, some of the players in Manchester City kind of took the foot off the pedal. We saw Haaland come back, but he wasn't as effective as he should be. Foden, I can't wait to watch Foden for the World Cup. He was phenomenal. But it wasn't just Manchester City Day. It was a day for those that wanted it more, and a bit of luck. That's the game of football.
Thank you very much. Vic, what do you think about Manchester City losing to Brentford at home?
It will be a tough one for Pep. They did everything. They tried everything. I mean, they triple passes, right? The amount of passes they have, I think, is almost 700 passes.
Wow.
But possession, of course, attempt, they try. But like Christian said, it's sometimes it might not be your day. But I also think Ivan Toney, I just think today was his day. He could have made a World Cup squad instead of this guy from Newcastle, Wilson. Yeah. But I think for me, it probably felt like he had a point to prove, right? From the first minute to the final minute, he was on it. And usually he'll be walking with a limp, right? Getting tired. No, he gave it all. Today was their day. Man City could have maybe they deserve a draw at the end, but it wasn't just meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I watched the game. I did not watch the full game, to be honest, but I watched the first half and half of the second half. And like Christian said, the intensity, the intentionality behind Brentford's type of play, the tackles, Frank Onyeka was what he was phenomenal today as well. And he's been forthcoming in the past 3 or 4 games that's been playing, actually this season, because last season he was in and out with injuries.
With injuries, yeah.
But this season it's like he's getting grabs of the Premier League. He puts in tackles. They are not scared. They are not afraid, to play the game, whether it is to defend, as Chris said, or to attack. And that is what actually has been will keep them in the Premier League for long, because they just came from the Championship, 3 seasons ago. And again, why is Ivan Toney not going to the World Cup? I'll leave Gareth Southgate to answer that after the World Cup.
Ended a 3-1 in favor of Brentford. You know that they missed a clear chance to the end.
The hat trick. He will have scored a hat trick, yeah.
Not hat trick. It was just a lucky day, but I give it to them.
Okay, well, that's all about Manchester City, dropping 3 points completely today against, I don't know if I should call them title contenders, Arsenal.
League leaders.
League leaders against the league leaders. And they have opened the 5 points gap, at the top. We'll see how that happens. Of course, there's always been times and situations where there's a 14 points gap, and yet still it is closed down. But let's move on to the next, game here that we want to talk about, and that is Newcastle playing against Chelsea. So, how did Chelsea, come out playing this game? Honestly speaking, I don't know, but let's take it bit by bit. It's very important that we take this bit by bit and in Chelsea's performance, because for me, it's not just the performance, it's everything about the team right now. So Newcastle started with Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn playing a 4-3-3 formation with Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, and Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield. And you have Joelinton, Chris Wood playing in for Wilson, who is recovering from illness, and Miguel Almiron, who is their top man at the moment. And then Chelsea, what did Chelsea started with? Back 3-5-2 formation, or 3-4-3, whichever way you say it. Edward Mendy, Chalobah, Koulibaly, Cesar Aspi, Jorginho, Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Lewis Hall, Amanda Broja, Mason Mount, and Conor Gallagher. These were the players Chelsea started with. Now, my question is to you guys, what's your reaction to the lineup itself? Because there's more to this than the performance as well. What do you think, Victor?
So, I don't know why. I think they define that as insanity, continuing to do the same thing and expecting to get a different result. I don't know why Potter will continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. You continue to play this formation that we do not have the players at the moment for. If we had an N'Golo Kante, it's a different ballgame. If we had our right wing back, it would have been a different ballgame. But right now, if we had Ben Chilwell, it would have been a different ballgame. But we do not have those players to execute this 3-5, 2 that you're playing. It's not going to work. You just, when I saw the lineup, I just knew it was going to be the same thing as our from other 2 games. Unfortunately, not to be a prophet of doom, it happened. He still ended up playing at right wing back, even though Loftus-Cheek later got injured, and he was playing an Aspilicueta over there. On the other side, it was Hall. Hall is not a left wing back. Hall is a midfielder. You cannot use, like most people on the team were playing out of position. We had a forward that was, the only person who was playing in position was Broger, and he didn't get the services. So it's just a system. In summary, it's a system, a formation that at the moment we do not have the players to execute. Why don't you try something and reshape the team? That's the quality of a good coach. And when you have injuries, you play a different formation to fit the class of players, the potentials that you have. He's not doing it at the moment.
Let me come to you, Victor. Seeing the past 3 games that we've played, I know you say you're not looking forward to Chelsea game these days because of the performance and the results. What do you make of the lineup? Because I'm sure you looked at the lineup today. And what came to your mind when you saw the lineup?
What lineup would you have suggested? The reality is this manager has tried different players. Might feel like we're playing the same way, but he has actually make some tactical tweaks, right? Try to see if this works, if that works. Aubameyang sat out the last 2 games. He didn't come on today as a sub, but I think he came on midweek against Man City. The reason why I try to play Broja was because they said Aubameyang wasn't very mobile, or wasn't mobile enough, doesn't have the energy, right, to bust through after coming through the midfield. Now you have 2 attacking midfielders playing behind Broja, and still Broja did not receive any service. That boy labeled the entire game. Now, we cannot continue to blame the manager every time we lose. I understand Porter is facing some difficulties right now. I think it is expected, right? But we have not talked about the abilities, or how do I put it? The type of players we have, those lads, they are not delivering. Believe me, if Tuchel is still at Chelsea, we will still be losing matches.
I don't think so. No way. I don't think so. Tuchel never lost a match.
Chelsea has been back to back.
I get it. Hold
on. I get it. 3 losses in a row. I get it. In the Premier League,
4 losses on the bounce.
In the Premier League, and Premier League is not good enough. I understand. What I'm saying is this team has been bad since the beginning of the year. This is November.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Let's try to move a little bit forward here, because we can dwell on this lineup of a thing and will not cover other aspects of the game, because the game goes beyond the lineup, right? Now, you talk about the manager, trying all that he could, and still the team is not moving forward. You played the same system. I was watching Spurs today, and I looked at the way Spurs were playing, the way that we are putting the ball in the box. That is the job of the manager, telling players what he wants them to do, and they must do it. That is why I think you've seen Conte's interview sometime, that he said he will kill the player if the player is not doing what he tells him to do, by specific instructions on what you want the player to do. There is no passer of the ball in the team. All of them ball carry. All our midfielders ball carry. All attacking. What do you then do? How do you service the striker if you don't put balls for him to run to, or if you don't put balls for him to, or link up plays? Anyway, let's look at the game itself. We watched this game. Let's not take away the credit from Newcastle. Let's look at Chelsea. What's your reaction? What from the lineups? We all don't agree with the lineup. I mean, personally, but again, you mentioned what lineup could we play? I honestly, maybe
I don't have an answer. Different system, different formation. We have played different formation over the past few games, right? Different ways. We try different things. What I'm trying to say is this: just to come back to the game.
When it's not working, you will try different things.
Do you want to compare our set of midfield players, not about quality, but the energy and the zeal to actually win a game, to Newcastle players or Spurs? Put them head to head.
Yeah,
Ruben versus Bentancur versus Guimaraes.
I agree. I agree with you.
We don't have enough quality. We just don't.
That is why the system does not favor you to play there. That's with those type of players, because you will once you are outnumbered in midfield and you don't have the energy and the physique to do the job, you can't perform. And that is that's the problem with the team. Now, let's look at the way the team played overall. Mm-hmm. What do you think was lacking in that team? Christian?
Okay, Chidi, before I answer that question, I was waiting to answer your previous question. What formation could we have done better? I still think a 4-3-3 at this point will meet the needs of the caliber of players we have. We have a Raheem Sterling. We have an Aubameyang on a Barja for the middle. We have a Ziyech who is prolific over there. We have even Loftus-Cheek could do well with in the midfield with the likes of Jorginho in the middle, and on the left side you could have Kovacic. We have the players to execute a 4-3-3. Look at back on the days of Mourinho. Look at the days of the other coaches, Sarri, that we had. You know, they were very, very creative. We could go back to a 4-3-3. We have the players right now fit for a 4-3-3. Why don't we try it? That's just my take. It sounds simple.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the game itself, because this formation we can change it. This game has been played. We're just like trying to focus on what we saw in the game. What did you see in this game today that made you angry, irritated? You know, because I remember we were talking on the phone, you know, and you were very, very angry about the team and why, you know, they are not performing the way you want them. As expected of a Chelsea team. As expected of a Chelsea team. Christian.
Like, my other commentator said, there was no fighting spirit. I'm just not blaming the coach. Today it was an all-round poor performance, you know, just like in the last two games. There was no fighting spirit. This Newcastle lads wanted the ball more. They went more for the ball. Their tackle were more intentional. They moved the ball better than we did. Our passes were mostly intercepted. Like you said, we had more ball carries than ball passes. The ball was not moved forward. It was not in the wing. We didn't have the wingers making headways. We didn't have the crosses coming in. Everything was wrong with the game. You know, we were not hungry enough, just like the Newcastle players. So I think it was an all-round poor performance. It was a wrong day. The spirit of the team, maybe we need somebody to psych them up more. I don't know how that works, but it has to be done.
I'll just go back to this same point we always make all the time: change of formation. Against Arsenal, wasn't a 4-2-3-1 formation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that the same formation as we play today, or was that the same formation as we play against Man City in the midweek? We had Silver and Chalobah in the middle against Arsenal. Pivots of Ruben and Kovacic. Yeah. Now, again, it's easy to say, you've been saying this, Chidi, since Tuchel was here, change of formation. And I keep telling you, it's easier.
The first thing I said was that the personality of the team does not demand that they play the wing backs with those players. That is all I'm saying. You cannot play those wing backs we have.
Let me just finish. See, we had the same trouble. That's why I said this team has been in trouble since the beginning of the season, since the beginning of January this year. It wasn't just about the sanction, blah blah blah, right? We had issues with the team because our left wing back and right wing back were out. Kante was injured most of the entire season, right? Those were the guys behind how well we play and deliver results. We've had two good games this year, this entire calendar year. Against Madrid, the game that we lost, and against Spurs this season. Both games came under Tuchel. My point is this: irrespective of whatever formation you're trying to figure out or frame out right now, we don't have enough characters, enough personality within the team. We are talking about a team that almost half of its player wants to leave. And to my understanding, that is one of the reasons why Tuchel had to leave, because Tuchel made the owners realize, he made them known that some of those players does not fit into his plan. They have to go, but they disagree. Now, if the manager already lost courage, right? If I cannot do anything with you, then I mean, what decision do you want the owners to make, right? It's either you leave or you work with this. Well, I cannot work with this, right? So we had a broken dressing room. Again, the last two games, Zakaria scored in the Champions League. The following game was against Arsenal. He was on the bench. When Zakaria scored that goal, he was looking at the bench. When he was celebrating, it was giving the bench like a bad look, right? Maybe the manager punished him. He played him against City. He didn't play him today. Aubameyang didn't play today. What is going on with Chelsea? What is going on with the dressing room? And we have talked about this before. I told you, I said, this manager, I know is a proper football manager, but when you get to Chelsea, it's a different ball game.
It's always a different ball game when you come to the top teams. No matter what a football manager you
are. The players not Aspilicueta for me is finished.
It's finished.
It's a finished play. Ruben Loftus-Cheek
he should have gone.
Should be a squad player, not playing in starting level.
Not a starter.
And then I said, when you told me, when you mentioned that we should play back for, and I don't want to take more time, I said we have two top, mature defenders, right? Koulibaly and Silva. Sadly, we cannot play them together. Without a defensive midfield player, we cannot play them together. We'll be exposed massively. So if we want to play them, it has to be Silva and Fofana, Silva and Chalobah. The managers are not stupid. It's just understanding
Vic, I understand where you're driving to. But again, looking at when we talk about the system of play of the team, you look at what you have and you try to iron out a system that fits that team, and you work with that team in that same system.
We've tried that.
Honestly, we are going, if we continue with not being able to, hopefully the injured players will recover, after the World Cup, at least to have a very good run from the last week of December on, until the end of the season. I hope that they will recover, because that is when we can also, judge this manager, Graham Potter.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
React with what Victor said earlier. I do not agree that we do not have the quality or the caliber of players. We do. We do have a Raheem Sterling. We do have an Aubameyang. We have these guys. We have Kai Havertz. We're going to see these guys in the World Cup doing great. We have the caliber. We just need a coach who is able to use what we have to the best of their ability.
For me, I think Porter should be a little bit ruthless.
So let me ask you a question when you mention ruthless. Okay, so the lineup today, I see it from being ruthless, right?
When I mean ruthless, this is what I mean. It's not the people that you play in that you. Honestly, I think he has a different personality, and I look at coaches like Conte, Tuchel, even Arteta, even Pep Guardiola. Even I think he might have the same personality with the Man United, Ten Hag, quiet, calm, on the touch.
He's not quiet. Ten Hag is not quiet.
And just like that.
It's not like Potter.
But again, I think, there's something that maybe his assistant managers should be, because what I mean is that even the ball passing itself, we're not completing passes. Let's forget about every other.
Did you see how many runs Kovacic made and could not complete the passes?
That's the thing. For example, Pep will tell you, I want you to play only 2 touches for me, because that's also the Spanish style of playing. These guys, all of them do, but all of them, from the wing backs, don't need to do a lot of ball carrying. It's just get into that position, swinging the cross. I was watching Spurs. I was looking at the way they played. The way their wing backs will put in the balls in the box, because they just because the thing is this, the more you carry the ball, you are going to get tired quicker. It is just plain truth. The more you carry the ball, dribbling with the ball, running with the ball into, no matter what's the distance, the more often you do that, you are going to get tired. This is what I try to coach players into doing. Make proper decisions. And I think also some Chelsea players don't make good decisions when they're on the ball, because the first thing they do is to just carry, and then they lose it.
Yes, that's number one. Number two, do you know how many times Trevor Chalobah passed back to Mendy today?
That was ridiculous. I couldn't stand it.
Because when you do that, it's because you don't see anything ahead of you. Okay. You don't see a midfielder moving.
After the substitution, that changed. After we went down 1-0, it stopped doing that. It started playing forward, actually pushing forward himself. What I'm saying is this: we've got a lot of player, big names that we think they should be doing more. Today we had 5 shots. Before this game, it was 11.5. The last few games that we lost, that is too low for for a team at the stand of Chelsea. We're not creating enough chances. So again, that's why the manager tried to, let me use Broger, and put those quick guys behind him that can, move the ball and pass. But that didn't happen today.
They didn't play anything.
Now, when you said the manager being ruthless, I agree with you. When you have Porto on the touchline, you have a Moreno, right? You know what they demand of you, right? It's different. Again, this is a different territory for Chelsea. We've not been here before, right?
I said it before in the last show. I said we have to get used to losing.
But do you think the owner does not expect that?
I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking.
Do you
Maybe
think they
he's
brought
thinking
Porter
of
to win the
creating.
Champions League this season?
Maybe he's thinking of creating more franchises and making more money with American clubs. That's what I think.
I'm hoping we do something different after the World Cup. Maybe with this time they can look at someone like Amanda Traore of Wolves on the right wing. If you want to insist on playing this formation, you need someone like that.
You just need different personality. You cannot play Sterling as a wing back. You cannot play all the wing backs we have. We cannot play them. The only wing back that we have right now is James, who's not even a wing back. But
so again, after the World Cup,
anyway.
Nothing is going to change. A couple of players will be coming back. I get it. December 26th. This guy needs at least 2 transfer windows to get things right. And if there's anyone that needs to be fired right now, it's Toboli himself as the interim technical director.
Yeah, he should leave that position.
But not Porter. I mean, Porter makes mistake. He's still growing into this new role. It's a lot of work.
I think so. That is why I said right at the beginning when Toboli took over, I don't think he's making right decisions for the club. For me, that's why I think. Now, secondly, I believe that, as she just mentioned, he should just quit doing. He's not a football person.
Step down. The biggest mistake he made was firing everyone. If I were him, no matter how much I hate Tuchel, I would have kept him to keep the ship steady for now. And then we'll see at the end of the season,
at the end of the season, you review
and make a decision.
The man just got players that he thinks that he thought that will work with him. And
never had a chance to play Zachary. Aubameyang played one game.
And guess what? What do you think will happen to the psychological, the mental state of these players when the coach that they were hoping to play for is fired the next day, and you expect them to perform? Absolutely not. So I don't even blame Aubameyang, because maybe he doesn't even want to play for Porter, and now he's down a Chelsea player.
I think Christian wants Porter to be fired. Doesn't he agree with us?
I mean, it's going to be too soon, but I still think, I know my opinion is not the popular one, but Porter is not yet. He was doing good with, his former team. But how you fire a Champions League level coach like Tuchel to bring in a Porter who just came from the Championship, who is not used to what Chelsea is not Albion. Come on. So
because it's Harry Potter, he has a magic wand.
No, it don't work that
maybe
way.
That's the name. Okay, guys, let's try to move ahead here, because we can talk about this all the time. What do you expect from Porter after the World Cup? What are your expectations? Victor, what are your expectations?
I think we are work in progress, and they said trust the process. I'm not sure how much the fans, especially the one that goes to the game, how much they will, because we talk about the atmosphere at the stadium, right? Yes. We're not sure how long they will keep backing him. Now, if there's a lot of pressure on the owners because of the result we're having, they might need to make a decision. I know it's crazy, even though I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't think this team need that distraction of the fan being against the entire, the board and the coaches. So I hope by the time we get back on Christmas Eve, things start moving well. Maybe James is back and ready to go, because we need James now.
Victor, we need James when it comes. Sorry, Christian.
Yeah, so 2 things I would need. I know I talked about the formation change. He should look more to be dynamic in working with what we have. Hopefully, Conte and the likes are back, but also looking at the transfer window, which is going to be open in January. Let's look at the likes of Adama Traore. Chelsea's big enough. Let's look at the likes of Alphonso Davies on the left. Those are people that if you want to work that system and make it work, there are a lot of nice players. Let's look into the academy and see if we can get people. We have players. We should have players from the Chelsea Academy that can go into this team and play natural wing backs. I expect him to explore those options and even getting players from the market.
And hopefully a central defensive midfielder, like I've been saying all season. I think it's crucial that we start thinking about the performance of Kovacic and Jorginho. I mean, it's not helping. If those 2 big figures are not putting in enough effort, now Ruben can stroll into the team, right? But if they are really at the top of their game, it will take time for Ruben to even get a first team start. So if those guys are not working well, we need to replace them.
I think again, injuries have not allowed Kovacic, right? Again,
so it's been in and out.
We'll see. So Arsenal is top of the league. Just to end the show, Arsenal is top of the league. Will they be top of the league come May?
Question. I hope they are not, but listen, football is no respecter of name. The way Arsenal is playing now, if they continue like that after the World Cup, nothing is going to stop Arsenal from contending for the title. I'm sorry. The only team I see that can stand up to Arsenal is Manchester City. But right now, it's going to be between those two.
Victor?
I mean, one loss in 14 so far, right? And I know we say at the beginning of the season we said, oh, we don't see Arsenal winning because of the way the rest of the teams in the league are playing right now, the performance level. You can't rule Arsenal out. You cannot rule them out. And with the threat of Newcastle right now coming through, maybe Man City will, go on a winning spin like I always do. But I think they are the only challenger right now for Arsenal. So it is very likely that Arsenal wins the league. It's possible. I won't say no.
I mean, Liverpool did it, that they stayed there and they won the league. Yeah. And it's been long since Arsenal won the league. So if they continue doing what they are doing well and the rest of the teams are, continue playing the way they are playing, definitely they'll win the league. But again, Man City, we always want to finish strong. So I think they will be the only ones. But again, no one answered my question. Would they win the league? Yes or no?
No, I don't think so. I think Man City is still favorite to win the league.
I don't want Man City to win the league.
Well, there's no other team right now that can match that.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this particular episode and the last one prior to the World Cup. I hope we're all looking forward to the World Cup. We will be having some shows, special edition for the World Cup. So let's get ready for it. And for you guys out there watching this, please click that like button and subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when we release content. Thank you very much for us from here. Wherever you are, have a beautiful day and bye for now.